So that's your job. And your job is to be willing to die. You're a soldier, man. You're so on the front line. You've gone too far to turn back. If you went and hid in a basement for 6 weeks, people all over the world would think the government had killed you. So you have to understand your obligation, what the universe have gave you. And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer, to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you'll drive all over the country to chase us down.
It's like I'm stalking though.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Chase us down. Okay?
I do feel like I have an obligation for people. I mean, it's not as bigger than me.
Yeah. But no, being business, you can't see it. It was business to Trump. He saw nothing.
All right.
Okay? I just saw it, that smile. Okay. And so again, I just say, man, I thank you. I look at Kathy Hughes, what she's able to do with that children. I look at Carl Nelson, the Joe Madisons. You know, some can go further than others because some got leeway. But I just say, man, to sit here, and just my birthday, it's a weekend. Thank you for contributing to my birthday. You know, all I say is thank you. We move so fast. I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you're a family, I don't know if you're a wife. But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey. Hey, man, what, you know? I owe that to you. Because together, we can beat this thug. Because it's the universal God. And so again, I just say thank you. Thank you for running me down, man. So again, but that's the obligation that you have. How old are you?
Oh, 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food.
Right.
There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you the feeder. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.
Yes, sir.
And then you got to deal with people that think you're crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, that's their way out. I'm embarrassed that you told me this, and I didn't know it, so I think you're crazy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba Gregory, and the birds of the great Duke Ellington. We love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Da 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 da. Guess who's back and still black? Brother Ron, tell a friend. Guess who's back and still black? Guess who's back is biggie back is Brother Ron, and this is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. This is Brother Ron. Thank y'all for tuning out to tune in to get in where you don't fit in, because like Dr. King or Michael said, Michael King, Brother Michael Dr. King, human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted. And I'm feeling my podcast mojo coming on stronger than ever before. And this is We All Be. Tell your friends and family to come out the front door into the living room because we live it. Gotta live it up. Gotta live it up. So with that said, thank y'all. Thank you for spending your time with us, with the good folks at We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. So there's been a lot to talk about. Yeah, I've been, feeling my live stream mojo coming back strong. Got a lot of great shows coming up in the very near future. A lot of interesting things to cover. And, like Dick Gregory told me, Baba Dick Gregory told me a while back, the righteous ancestor, the universal God, once the universe chooses to put those magic glasses on you, you cannot make anybody see what you see. You cannot force it on anybody. It is both a gift, a blessing, and some may see it as a curse, but I don't see it as a curse. It's a gift and a blessing. And really, you should stay encouraged that you could see things from a different way because you don't know what people are going through right now. It's a tough time for a lot of people out here, and you don't know what people got on their plates and on their minds and hearts and spirits. And it is very important to stay encouraged because this too shall pass like the seasons and like the reasons that are normally given. So with that said, let's get into it. Uh I talked about we did the Hulk Hogan show last night. A lot of people, or some people, I ain't gonna say lots of people, some people see things differently from where I see it, and that's okay. We should be able to agree to disagree. No hard feelings. I think there's room for everybody to have their voice heard and amplified, especially in the age of social media and social deception and distractions. So with that said, like one thing I'll think about Hulk Hogan, I was thinking about this too. I said, well, Hulk Hogan is larger. His persona is bigger than wrestling. He's a, undisputed global iconic figure, albeit controversial based on the things he said in private as Terry Jean Bollea, unless he's always in character or he was in character 24/7. And I was thinking about who would I compare Hulk Hogan to in hip hop? Hulk Hogan was the Snoop Dogg of wrestling. Hulk Hogan was the Snoop Dogg of wrestling. And I thought about that the other day because I'm looking at Snoop. Snoop is a very popular global iconic figure now. I mean, this is not the same doggy style Snoop from back in the early 90s. He was a rap phenom. Of course, he came out on the scene blazing with the 187 on an undercover cop. Yeah, and it don't stop. He had them assists from Dr. Dre. He was Dr. Dre's wingman. Dr. Dre was Jordan, and he was Pippin. Better yet, I guess Dr. Dre was Magic Johnson, and he was James Big Game Worthy. How about that? Is that a better description? Because they LA people. But Snoop has reinvented himself a lot of times. Snoop Doggy Dogg, Snoop Dogg, Snoop Lion. He be lying, according to y'all. How Snoop very much exaggerate himself. And the history of the music, like Hulkster, exaggerated himself. But also, they say there's a truth even in a lie, and you cannot deny their influences inside and outside their profession. But Hulk was known for exaggerating some truths and stuff like that, situations. And Snoop has been renowned for exaggerating certain truths and situations. Both are very adept at storytelling, as well as making themselves look bigger, larger than life, or better, depending on how they tell the stories. So with that said, I thought about, Snoop is like the Hulk Hogan of hip hop rap. They both say the N word. So, they both like saying the N word, right? So Snoop and Hulk Hogan, why not? They both came from the mean streets. Snoop from Long Beach and Hulk Hogan from, I was about to say South Beach, but he's from Florida, right? Temple, Florida, somewhere. I don't know where he was raised down in Florida. They both got Southern roots. Snoop folks are from Mississippi. Both his parents from Mississippi.
Hulk is from the South, whatever. And they both like, great ambassadors of their profession, of their craft, very mainstream. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to understand or know who Hulk Hogan is. It's like you don't have to listen to rap music or hip hop to know who Snoop Dogg is. They transcend racial barriers, but controversial in their own right. Snoop was facing prison because murder was the case that they gave him. He actually manifests that. I'm trying to tell people about rap and these rappers and spells. Words create worlds. Words create worlds. Words create worlds, right? So you could be spelling, manifesting things. Like you look at Notorious B.I.G. His first album was Ready to Die. Second album was Life After Death. Second album came after he was dead. Even like you listen to Tupac, he Death Around the Corner. All the songs he predicted his early demise, he manifested that through spells, through rapping. You manifest your realities, and I don't think people understand that. Like I talk about Dick Gregory. He cured John Lennon and Yoko Ono of their drug addictions. Like he went to Europe. They was living in a cave mansion. I think Jet Magazine did a cover story on Dick Gregory and John Lennon's relationship, or John Lennon's relationship with the black community, but it shows a picture of Dick Gregory with John Lennon and his wife Yoko Ono. And they talk about, John told Dick Gregory in a very candid moment that, hey, we was brought over to America to get kids addicted to drugs. They were using the Beatles to get kids addicted to drugs through the music. And people are like, oh, that's far-fetched. Now think about it. You think about rap. I mean, NBA Youngboy said that his music is used to incite violence in young people. NBA Youngboy, one of the best rappers on the scene today, he acknowledged that he's being used by the industry or by entities in the industry to incite violence in young people. So John Lennon acknowledged that to Dick Gregory that, hey, we're used to encourage drug use among young people, because like the Beatles came over here back in, I believe, in 1964. The year before was the Kennedy assassination, JFK assassination. Then the Warren report came out. A lot of Americans did not agree with the official narrative of the Warren report. Mark Lane, the lawyer, the great lawyer Mark Lane, one of Dick Gregory's collaborators, came out with one of the first important literary works to question the validity and the truthfulness of the Warren Commission report, The Rush to Judgment. That's a book Mark Lane wrote. He also collaborated with Dick Gregory to expose the King assassination. Code name Zorro, because the FBI used to call Dr. King Zorro. That was his code name from the FBI. So with that said, look up the Tavistock Institute over in England. They part of MK Ultra legacy. There's so much going on. Even when you look at the Thomas Crooks character that tried to take out Donald Trump, Orange 47. If you look at what happened, earlier this week in New York City, where they're trying to say the dude was trying to attack the NFL, but actually he took out a woman who was the CEO of Blackstone, I believe, which was like, is like the twin of BlackRock, a big real estate entity in the world. He took out the CEO. And they covered that up in the main. They buried the lead in the mainstream. They buried that lead like they buried Jimmy Hoffa back in '75. He's like 4 victims. Like they talked about the police officer, but they didn't tell us about the CEO that was deleted by the former high school football player from Las Vegas via L.A. whatever. So this is why it's so important to question everything, to question the official story, because normally the official story is the official lie. Same thing with Malcolm Jamal Warner, where they said it was just him by himself at first. Then they said it was another guy they rescued who was in critical condition. Then there's another version of the story where they said, oh, his daughter was swimming with him as well. Then I heard that his wife was not even in Costa Rica. She was back stateside, allegedly. All these stories, like Dick Gregory would tell me, like, watch how they change the stories within the 24, 48-hour time period. Like the first report is not the final draft. The first report is not the final draft. It's like they go from looking for multiple shooters to one lone shooter. It go from multiple gunmen to one lone gunman. But in America history, it's always the lone gunmen. It's never one gun man. It's always gun men. Okay, so anyway, I just want to get that out there. But anyway, let's talk about tonight. Talk about skip. Oh, po Shannon Sharpe, man. Y'all really haven't have it online. The internet is undefeated. The internet is undefeated. Y'all letting Sharpe have it online. Skip. He dropped that bag. Fumbled that bag. But I'll tell you one thing. Shannon Sharpe proved to me, he gave us 100 million reasons why he ain't playing for the rainbow flag football team. To me, Shannon Sharpe ain't gay. You know, he just basically look like he lost the bag to what his downfall was a woman. I said Shannon's a big goofy, but thank you, Spirit of Justice. You said Shannon's a big goofy, huh? But everybody's goofy. It's like I believe that everybody's autistic. I believe that autism is on the spectrum. Everybody's on the spectrum. I believe everybody's weird. You got some people that's weird. You got some people that's weirdo. It's all on the spectrum. But people going real hard on Unc, and it's funny to judge this man, but I don't think it's he didn't do nothing different than men have been doing since the beginning of time. A lot of things that men do is to impress and get women. It's not just chasing the bag, it's chasing the bouquet. It's chasing the cat. What James Brown said, this is a man's world, but it will be nothing without a woman and a girl. This is a man's world, but it would not be anything without a woman or a girl. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, y'all ain't peeping game, because everybody want to give this man advice about, he shouldn't be chasing a young girl. Look, young women love older men. It's something about an older man that young women dig, and that's natural. Just like I believe it's natural for men to desire more than one woman. That's nature. A lot of times we go against nature and then we get these type of results because we're not honest. To go against nature is to go against your truest, authentic self. To go against nature is to go against your truest, authentic self. To go against nature is to go against your truest, authentic self. So I'm doing my Dr. Umar hypnosis, right? I'm talking. Actually, I was hypnotized last week, and we're gonna have that later on. The hypno goddess, she's gonna come on the show in the very, very near future to hypnotize all y'all. Hypnotize me. But what I'm saying is when we deny our nature, that becomes our downfall. When we don't embrace who we really are, it causes a lot of problems. Like if you rather tell a lie than tell the truth is stress-free. It might hurt at the beginning, it might be jarring at the beginning, but to tell the truth means to me you don't have to remember a script. You don't have to remember the lie. With lying, you got to constantly remember what you lied about, how you told a lie. You got to be consistent. With the truth, you could just say what it is. That's the truth. That's the truth, Ruth. But the thing about it is that Shannon has not done anything different than men, powerful men, and not so powerful men have been doing since the days of Adam, Eve, Lilith, whatever. Dudes do things to get women. It's like the old casting couch. Oh, you want this part in the movie? Well, you got to give me some. Give me what you got for a pork chop. Give me what you got for a pork chop. You got to give it up. You want this part, you got to give it up. So that's nothing new. And people going real hard on Shannon. Man, not saying that he don't deserve to be scrutinized because he had fair warning from people like Cat Williams. He told him the game. Like I remember Dick Gregory told me something similar. He said he didn't mess with white women because he thought about when he going to the movies, like Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, all came out the white woman's pussy. Hey, meow. He said, I don't want to go up in there that Frankenstein and Dracula came out of. I don't want to touch that. And Cat told his story. And you look at the history of this country, what it'd be like. We're looking at the 70th anniversary of Emmett Till lynching. Unfortunately, it happened August of 55. And I talked about William James Howard, his sending the early Valentine's card to his co-worker down in Florida, caused him to die. You get drowned. They drowned him in the Swanee River, I believe, down in Florida. Live Oak, Florida, somewhere near Orlando or something like that. I don't know. Y'all look it up. We look at William James Howard. That happened almost 10 years before Emmett Till, or a decade or so before Emmett Till. So you got the story. You even look at that big black Jack Johnson, the heavyweight champion, right? But Jack Johnson, they made a whole lot to take him down because he was having too much fun with white women going across state lines and whatnot. And he still was messing with white women. He still was marrying white women. And really, the Mann Act is outdated. It needs to be abolished, defunded, whatever is ridiculous because most of the country will be guilty. And most of the grown people in the country will be guilty because people are paying for people to fly out, the Greyhound, Megabus, whatever you call it, FedEx. People cross the state lines to do the hokey pokey and turn themselves around. So I guess the whole half the country is guilty of that. And Diddy, right now they're trying to get them charges thrown out, do a retrial, whatever. And Diddy's gonna get out, folks. Diddy's getting out. One way or the other, time served or President Trump is gonna pardon him. And power to President Trump. I know a lot of y'all don't like him, but I love it because it proves a point that Barack Obama did not do anything for us, for Black American natives, that he could have done like Trump is doing the way he's doing it. He got the swagger. He's swinging his balls everywhere. He letting his chain hang low, and swinging it everywhere. So getting back to Shannon, Shannon paid a price for that pootie thing. He paid a heavy deal price for that. And people like, he should have did this and that. Like I said, Monique tried to warn him. Kat tried to warn him. And the thing about it is, Shannon has a right to live the life the way he want to live his life. I mean, I always liked Shannon Sharpe from his days as a football player. I love his confidence, his swag. He was very gifted on the football field. He was able to translate his charisma into a very lucrative, up to this point, being a sports analyst, a second career as a sports analyst. He had his runs on CBS and Fox and whatever, and ESPN recently, but he's very gifted, what I'm saying, in terms of his charisma. He really makes people feel comfortable when they interview him. They could spill the tea or the liquor or the vodka, whatever they drinking, and he makes people at ease. So that's a gift. And unfortunately, it seemed like he squandered the gift. And I say this, it ain't over till it's over. America loves the comeback kid. A setback is a setup for a comeback. It ain't over till it's over. And people that count Shannon out in this game is sadly mistaken. I believe he got enough confidence and swag and belief in himself to overcome even this. And what I'm telling you is the game is simply for the fact that ESPN decided to let him go before his brother, the great Sterling Sharpe, who can make a case that Sterling Sharpe was the greatest wide receiver to ever play football. You can make a strong case for that. And I love Jerry Rice. Them records ain't gonna be broken anytime soon. A lot of the records he was able to accumulate, but there could be a case made that Sterling Sharpe was the greatest wide receiver to ever play football. And you talking about Randy Mosses, you talking about Terrell Owens, you talking about Jerry Rice's, you talking about Art Monk, you talking about Michael Irvin, named Larry Fitzgerald, and his career was cut short by injury. But his brother is going to be inducted to Canton at the Football Hall of Fame, I believe, this weekend. And Shannon asked, he already knew it was coming, I guess, but he wanted them to wait until Monday after the Hall of Fame ceremony to officially let people know that they cut ties with him. And ESPN said, "You ain't bigger than us, Shannon Sharpe. Who is you? Who is you to make demands, man?" They let it out on Thursday, right? They come out Thursday, Wednesday. And a lot of times, the most important news stories of the week come out on a Friday. They let it come out on Friday, but because by the time Monday comes around, the story is forgotten about. But they want to just let it out on Friday because nobody's really paying attention to the news cycle on Friday. At least that was the old practice. Could be a new thing because they let this story out in the middle of the week. But they did that. I'm gonna tell you why they really did that. They really wanted people to know that Shannon was let go of ESPN because I believe they might want people to tune in into the Hall of Fame ceremony. That's probably gonna be the highest rated Hall of Fame ceremony in network history. I'm sure I don't keep up with sports like that no more because bread and circuses. But I'm thinking that ESPN is going to broadcast the Hall of Fame ceremony this weekend. So I'm sure that Shannon Sharpe, who worship his brother, is going to be there, because even he would say, well, the greatest football player in our family is not me. And Shannon Sharpe is one of the greatest football players of all time, one of the greatest tight ends, one of the greatest football players, championship winning football players. But he always give deference, or he always, he would give his brother the greatest honor of being the best football player in their family, and that says something. So I'm sure Shannon Sharpe, in spite of all this, we call it humiliation ritual thing that he's going through, he's going to be in attendance at the Hall of Fame. So I'm sure people going to be watching him, try to read his body language and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to introduce his brother. Maybe he might introduce his brother at the Hall of Fame. I don't know. But they did that more than likely to get the ratings up, because they could have probably, if his brother wasn't getting inducted into Hall of Fame, all this stuff, they probably would have waited. I can't read the mind of the executives over there in Disney and ESPN. They probably would have waited on Monday to release the news. They were letting them go. But that's the great thing. Oh, that's not the great thing. It's not great. That's great for ratings, Say, what up, brother Ron? Keep up the great work. Shannon Sharpe, a modern day King Kong story, big black man, small. Yeah, but King Kong, like Dick Gregory said, that the actual premise of King Kong is based on Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion, because he was into white girls. The King Kong, the original King Kong, he went to New York City. He climbed the Empire State Building in Manhattan. The boxing world at that time was centered in where it was Madison Square Garden in New York City. So and you saw that. Remember that? I don't know, one of these fashion magazines like some years ago. It ain't been that long ago, but it's been years. When they had LeBron James on the cover with Tom Brady's ex-wife, and they had him like in a pose like he was very animalistic, and she was the pure white flower. And it's kind of like they was modeling him out for King Kong, him being King Kong, and she being a white damsel in distress. And I don't know LeBron James, I'm not calling him stupid, but did he understand or understood what they was doing in terms of how they was trying to portray his image and how that was projected to the world? And that's why, people got to understand, stop getting your feelings about a lot of stuff. They use our emotions to make us clouded in our judgment and our discernment. Keep those magic glasses clean, because the whole Bill Cosby thing wasn't about the women. It was about him having the audacity to try to put himself in a position to project how the world should view Black American natives. That was the big thing about Bill Cosby. It wasn't about the women and the disco biscuits. It was about him trying to get in a position to project and control the Black American native story and present it in a way to the world where the world will fall in love with the Black people in America. And the world has a love-hate relationship with Black folks, Black American natives, because we have contributed a lot to the cultural and economic identity of this republic, of this constitutional republic. It's not democracy, known as America, United Snakes of America. So with that said, Shannon, even when you down, they can use you some type of way. And like I said, Shannon's gonna be going on his redemption tour very soon. Just like a Diddy, they recruited him for the Rainbow League. Diddy's gonna be a staunch advocate, I believe, for the rainbow community. They know Diddy is being reformed, he's being redeemed, and still people talking about the Epstein files. I mean, release the Jimmy Hoffa files, right? So I mean, America is the book of secrets. There's a lot of things out here that should be well known to the populace, but they try to play us like some Play-Doh. They want to play with our emotions, yin yang, like yo-yo. You can't play with my yo-yo, but they play with our yo-yos all day, day in and day out. So the thing about what's going on with the Shannon situation, and I look at Stephen A. Smith, and I think about a lot of things. What do you call that? And wrestling, you know how they, America is like wrestling. American history is like a wrestling match and gangster rap. That's American history. And I'm thinking about, okay, in wrestling, the battle royale. My wrestling fans, the battle royale, right? Y'all know it, like with Hulk Hogan, all them Ultimate Warrior, whoever, Sting, Goldberg, whoever you take, Body Ventura, Macho Man, they had the battle royale. Y'all know that from wrestling. But the real origin of the battle royale was when back in the day, not that long ago, back in the day, is that you had black men and boys put in a ring in an arena, blindfolded, right? You have them blindfolded, these black men and boys. The white man would throw money on the ground at the feet of these black boys and men. The object of the battle royale was to punch each other silly. Last man standing gets all the money on the ground. If I look at how they portray black people in America, we are worst enemies in this system of racism. Some of these folks believe in white supremacy. That's the religion. White supremacy is not the system. White supremacy is the religion. Racism is the system. If you look at Jack Johnson, who was from Galveston, Texas, he was known as the Galveston Giant. Jack Johnson was a big black man. He was big for his time. He was 6 feet, 6'1", 200 pounds. That was a big dude. Muscleman man. He came up learning how to box, participate in the battle royales where you had blindfolded black boys and men punching each other silly. Last man or boy, whatever, standing gets all the money. That's how America works. If you notice how black people go against each other, even in Django Unchained, they show how black men were fighting each other to the death, whatever, for the pleasure of white people. Our pain is their profit. Our pain is their pleasure. So you look at what was going on in ESPN, where you had the company Negro, Stephen A. Smith, and then they added Shannon Sharpe, the dark horse, right? The up and coming, even though he has an impressive resume already as an analyst on these different networks and whatnot. So y'all thought they were really colleagues and friends. No, they competitors. Stephen A. Smith ain't his only friend is the bag. He's friendly, but he's being competitive with Shannon. You see, Shannon, he changed the game. He's a game changer, right? He come in, not only he's doing traditional mainstream media work, but now he got this booming podcast because the Cat Williams interview at the beginning of 2024 broke the internet. Now you see people like Stephen A. Smith, they doing podcasts. And he's trying to break the internet. He's following Shannon's lead. But no, he's an alpha dog. Shannon's an alpha. You can't have two alphas in one room sharing one plate of dog biscuits. Okay, you can't have a bowl of dog biscuits. You can't have two alphas sharing this one bowl of dog biscuits. So somebody had to go. Because if you notice how Stephen A. Smith, he practiced 48 laws of power. He's Machiavelli, Sun Tzu, whatever. Like when the allegations came out against Jay-Z, he defended Jay-Z, his Brooklyn brother, with no problem. He said, like, he was in the room, whatever, or I was watching Jay-Z. I was a member of the NSA. I didn't see him do anything to that girl. He didn't know that girl. Okay, he didn't know it. But then with Shannon, he's like, I don't really know what to know. I just hope the brother gets, I don't know what happened. Like, damn, man, you don't have your man's back. Your man's in them. You don't have their back. I don't know what Shannon did. I know Jay-Z didn't do it. I know that Sean Carter didn't do it. I don't know what Shannon Sharpe is capable of doing. Maybe it's that CTE stuff that people talk about. Now, Shannon, he has a history of having issues with women in his career. It cost him at CBS. And then some other stuff. I'm not even judging because I don't really know what that's about. But I really do believe if Shannon was gay, would he have fumbled the bag if he was a gay man? If he was actually caught up in gay stuff, would he be canceled right now? He's not really canceled to me because he got a following. See, Shannon's like a wrestler, right? Like the great wrestlers didn't have to win the championship belt because they already had a thriving fan base. You didn't have to be champion if you already had a fan base that will follow you from different leagues, different networks, whatever. Shannon already has a strong base of people organically. So like, people say he lost the bag. I mean, whatever. Y'all forget. In 2004 when Dave Chappelle walked away from the Chappelle show, Comedy Central, right? And people thought he was crazy. They portrayed Dave Chappelle as crazy. They say he went to the crack house and started smoking crack. But he said, I went to Africa, man, to get my spiritual groundness. But they were saying all type of things in the gossip mill. This is before TMZ. It's before social media. This is 2004. Dave Chappelle had this groundbreaking show, the Chappelle Show. And then he walked away from the $50 million. And people thought he lost his mind. People thought he blew the bag. Like, he'll never get that amount of money. And fast forward to now, right? Dave Chappelle got this amazing deal with Netflix. He getting paid all this money to do these things that he loved to do anyway, that he probably do for free at the family reunion. Dave Chappelle is such a comedian, so passionate about what he does. I think he would have no problem doing this stuff on the subway in New York City, on the platform, whatever. That's how much he loved his craft. But people thought it was over for Dave Chappelle in 2004. He cracked out. He couldn't take the pressure and stuff. But he walked away on principle. And look at he got a bigger bag. And not only that, he used his platform and influence to get the rights back to the Chappelle show that he lost when he walked away. That's almost like the equivalent of Michael Jackson buying the Sony ATV catalog and giving Little Richard his publishing back. But he did that. He told Netflix, I see they acquired the Chappelle show to stream on the service, but if you respect Dave Chappelle, take them out of commission until they do right by me. Because he was misled by his lawyers. His legal counsel was not wise counsel for him. They was in the bed with Hollywood. They sold Dave Chappelle out. They wrote language in a way. Dave Chappelle's not an idiot. He come from a family of educators on both sides. His family come from a family of prominent educators. His father was a college professor at Antioch College up in Yellow Springs. That's where Coretta Scott King went to school. His mom was a college professor. She was the pioneer in creating the PhD Black Studies program in this country. She was personally selected by Patrice Lumumba, Prime Minister of the Congo. He selected her to supervise his dam project in the Congo. He was so impressed with Dave Chappelle's mom. So he comes from a family of very powerful, educated Black people. Generations graduated from college. Generations of educated Black folk. So even he was duped by Hollywood, but he got smart later on. He got him some wisdom. He used his popularity and his connections with Netflix to get Comedy Central to give him back the rights to his show. And y'all thought he was through in 2004, and Dave Chappelle still relevant in 2025. He recently won the Mark Twain Award up at the Kennedy Center. His specials on Netflix, they break the internet. He's very much in the mix. So for people to say that Shannon Sharpe is over for him is very premature. It's not over for Shannon Sharpe because he actually got a strong following. And there's people that still like him. Some people still love him. His big brother loves him. And he got people that support him. So, I mean, for people to say, he dropped the bag, then to make this deal about he shouldn't mess with the white girl. The white girl was legal. Elvis Presley was messing with white girls. Priscilla was 14 when he met Priscilla. Elvis was a grown man. Jerry Lee Lewis messed with his 13-year-old cousin and married her, the musician, Jerry Lee Lewis. A lot of rock and rollers, white rock and rollers was messing around with underage girls. That's part of the culture. And nobody counseled Elvis or Jerry Lee Lewis. Chuck Berry got in his little troubles. But a lot of times when they go out to Black men, it's not just about what y'all think. It's not about just the flesh. It's about other things. Like with Bill Cosby, it's not just about the women. The women is a cover to go out to him for not only trying to get a network, but also to get control of his land. Just like this Rico Frico case for Diddy was about trying to get his assets. trying to drain his pockets, trying to take away his assets that could be used to build generational wealth. It could be used to help, elevate his children and stuff like that. See, it wasn't about, right or wrong. This country is not built on right and wrong. It's built on take that, take that, take that, take that, take that, take that. It's not built on right or wrong. Morality has no place when it comes to actual power dynamics. All that morality y'all talk about, if we was really moral, we would be like not financing Ukraine and Israel to do what they doing. If we was really moral. This is not a moral country. Like Dick Gregory would say, when they drop it on us, don't get mad because we are paying taxes to drop it over there. So don't be surprised when they come back over here. It's like what Brother Malcolm said, the chicken's coming home to roost. You just don't do all this stuff over there. It's not going to have an impact on us over here. And that's how it works. So the thing about it is, people got to understand, I don't celebrate Black people getting jammed up by the system. Now, if they are guilty of something, hold them accountable. I'm not going to celebrate Black people dying. I'm not going to celebrate Black people going to prison. I'm not going to celebrate Black families getting broken up. That's not me. As I get older, I know that this system is not built for us to win. Not saying that we can't win, because the battle is not yours. It's the Lord's. It's God. Okay? So this is not about the flesh. This is about spirituality at the end of the day. And the system's not broken. The system works the way it works because it is a system that thrives off of blood sacrifices. Y'all keep on talking about, well, so-and-so was a blood sacrifice. We all blood sacrifices. Y'all ain't figured that out yet. Y'all ain't figured out that nobody dies a natural death in this system. That nobody dies a natural death. That a lot of things you think is hereditary is not really hereditary because your family history is because this system's history. It's hereditary through the system. It's like if you look at what Big Oil was able to do with big education, they took over the educational system to not create thinkers, but to create workers. I'm talking about the Rockefellers. Y'all thought it was all about oil with the Rockefellers. The oil was the gateway drug to power. The oil was the gateway drug to Illuminati control. They destroyed the medical infrastructure. They destroyed it. Like they started making medicine or medical products out of petroleum. They found out they can use petroleum not only for oil and all that, but also to make medical products. So they went away from natural remedies, natural doctors, because they used to teach folks how to use stuff that was grown from the earth to cure people. 100 years ago, how many people think had cancer 100 years ago in this country? How many people, what was the percentage of the population you think was obese 100 years ago? Look at those old-timey archival footage that people have floating on the internet from the early 1900s. They're showing people walking the streets and the sidewalks of New York City or somewhere like that. Even the biggest person walking wasn't fat. They might have been husky. They wasn't fat. People was actually walking because we live in a different time now where people actually was out there engaged in their community. They didn't have social media and all this so-called technology advances. They was like, they had to get out there and get it. Food was processed differently. They didn't have all these chemicals in their food, Frankenfoods. They didn't have Frankenfoods back in 1906. Now, I know the guy wrote the book, The Jungle, that talk about how they was doing stuff in the meat packing plants and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was natural. The hot dogs that Babe Ruth was eating was not packed with all this stuff they got in now. Babe Ruth steroids with hot dogs and root beer. Even Babe Ruth wasn't fat. People got this thing about the Bambino was fat. No, he was a big dude. He was slimmer and more cut when he was younger, but he was never like no couch potato. That's that myth that they tell. But also Babe Ruth probably was black, but that's another story. He is from Baltimore, so. But anyway, but the Shannon Sharpe thing is interesting. He said Stephen A is there to make the white man. Yeah, Stephen A even admitted. I respect Stephen A for being honest that he's there to make his bosses money. He know his place, but also Stephen A know that it's like in the mafia. if you look at the people who last the longest in the mafia, it's not the killers, it's the earners. The killers don't last. You know, you can always get some people to kill people, but the people that last the longest in any organization are people that know how to make money for their organization. So Stephen A is very good and adept in knowing his place and knowing how to make money, and he knows his worth. That's why he asked for the contract he asked for. And Stephen A plays it smart. He plays it like chess. Now people like, now he's a court jester like all the entertainers. They are court jesters, but Stephen A knows how to play the game. He knows how to move on the chessboard. He recognized he's a pawn, but he also knows he's a valuable pawn to his masters. So that's a great observation. That's how the boxer Joe Gans learned how to fight. Yeah, all the black boxers had to fight each other. You know, like, you know, the battle royale, you know, last man standing, and still the white man controls the game. This is game. This is system. So, but how they have us under control, that they put one against the other. That's how they always, like, you know, you look at Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. And people's like, oh man, they great. And Joe Frazier was the Uncle Tom. And Uncle Tom really not a bad word. We wasn't educated. We forgot that Uncle Tom was the hero in Uncle Tom's Cabin. He was the race man. In the real life, Uncle Tom helped black folks escape from America up to Canada. But the thing about it is that see, the mentality, like Jack Johnson was made through the Battle Royale, but you know, Jack Johnson, when he became heavyweight champion of the world, he refused to fight fighters like Joe Gans or Guns, how you say his name, or Sam Langford, them people like that. He didn't want to fight a black boxer. He would fight the white boxers, but he wouldn't let the black boxers give a chance, because we are so messed up in the head. We believe in the first black this or the first black that and the one and only black that. And that's the game they play on us, because really the people that last the longest, they got backup. White folks don't move by themselves. You know, notice that white person ain't going to attack a black person by themselves. They're going to have a mob of their people. Think about how this country, they'll attack one black person in a mob, but when they by themselves, a lot of times they ain't going to attack you. It's like there was a story on Facebook I saw about Smokey Joe Frazier, how a white man called him an N-word, you know, call him what Hulk Hogan like to call people recorded in private. And he beat the stew out that white man. The white man said, wait a minute, can we talk about this? You know, I don't know, these Facebook stories like interesting, but I can see Joe Frazier wearing out somebody disrespecting him like that. But y'all thinking that we got to pick one over the other. Like, you know, we can't like Joe Frazier because he's a sellout. Muhammad Ali is for the people, but people don't realize Joe Frazier helped Muhammad Ali when he was struggling. When they blackballed Muhammad Ali, it was Joe Frazier helping him out. Joe Frazier did a lot of things for Muhammad Ali when he was going through the troubles he was going through. But yeah, the way they portrayed on the popular media is like us. He's not like us, even though Joe Frazier is us. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, that's how they do it. Even you think about, you know, they'll pit young against old, like black people. Like you look at, you know, they try to get Louis Armstrong to go after Dizzy Gillespie in jazz, or they try to get Joe Louis to go after Muhammad Ali in boxing. It's like cultural wars they do in America. But these guys, they love each other, man. It's like they try to turn us against each other. But like you even look at Louis Armstrong, they're trying to act like he was old timey. But I tell you this, if you are ever in New York City or go to Queens, New York, visit the Armstrong home. It's amazing. And a lot of jazz musicians. I got this from Jim Heath, the great jazz legend who passed away back in 2020. I had a chance to meet Jimmy Heath, a little bird from Philadelphia. It's a brilliant man, a good man. And he talking about the reason why a lot of the jazz musicians like himself and others, Dizzy Gillespie included, moved to Queens was to be closer to Louis Armstrong. That's how much respect black musicians had for even Miles Davis. They all had the respect for Louis, but they moved to Queens to be closer to Pops. Oh, Louis Armstrong, Pop for everybody, baby. Oh, yeah. Just like Muhammad Ali had so much respect for Joe Louis. He said he's the greatest. And Joe Louis had love for Muhammad Ali. But even like, you know, you talking about Jack Johnson tried to help Joe Louis when he was starting his career, when he's up and coming. And the white folks said, you got to stay away from Jack Johnson. He problems. He problems. And Jack was trying to tell him some information. Jack Johnson was like arguably the greatest defensive boxer in boxing history. You know, he was a bigger version of Floyd Mayweather with more power. And so he was a great defensive specialist. And he was trying to give Joe Louis some pointers, and Joe Louis wasn't hearing it and got knocked out, whatever happened to Joe. That's what I heard. But here's the thing. It had in Joe Louis' contract, they couldn't mess around with no white women because they didn't want another Jack Johnson. But Joe Louis was the heavyweight champion. He messed around with some white women. You best believe that. Joe Louis messed around with some white women. But they said on the contract, man, we can't let you mess around with no white women because the white folks won't like it. See, the white people are weird. They talking about Cincinnati brawls, but they like a black man that fights for them. They have a problem with black folks having guns, but they like a black man that have a gun that fight for them. You know, as long as you fight for Uncle Sam and not against them, they good with it. You know, it's funny how they encourage violence and stuff among our people, but you know, it's a no-no when we defend ourselves against their violence. We can't have that. But like Joe Louis is a great example of a person they use him for propaganda. You know, he in Jim Crow America, and FDR, the president, and them telling him, "Oh, Joe, you got to fight for America. You got to fight against fascism and Hitler and all that stuff." You know, he took on Max Mellon and stuff back in the day. You know, and you can't even eat at the lunch counter. You can't sit in the front of the bus in your own country. And yet your country say we got to fight the evil over in Europe. But y'all the evil. Hitler learned how to do the stuff he did from America. America financed the Nazis. Henry Ford built vehicles for Hitler. They said Adolf Hitler had a portrait of Henry Ford in his office. They were building stuff for Hitler. You look at people like the DuPont family. They made a killing. They literally made a killing off of World War I with their chemicals and stuff. Wars are not fight for freedom. Wars are fought for profit and control of other people's resources. You don't fight wars to free anybody. You fight wars to enslave other people and control their resources. That's why wars are fought. That's why I said when people talk about, well, so-and-so was a blood sacrifice. So we all blood sacrifices. You got relatives, past and present, that was in the United States military. A lot of them sacrificed their lives or their health or their mental well-being for a cause a lot of us don't even understand. We think it's about protecting our liberties and rights, but General Smedley Butler figured out almost 100 years ago that war is a racket. And who is General Smedley Butler? The fighting Quaker from Philadelphia, the most decorated Marine in U.S. history, 2 Congressional Medal of Honors, and this man figured out that he was worse than Al Capone. He said, "I'm worse than Al Capone." Whereas Al Capone operated as a racketeer in Chicago, we were sent to different countries in the world to create banana republics for multinational corporations. Look up the words and the works of General Smedley Butler. You won't be disappointed. And we don't even know who he is today, right? Because they don't talk about General Smedley Butler, but he knew war was nothing about profit. He thought he was being a patriot, but he really was a pawn. So we talking about, you fighting for my freedom. You're not fighting for my freedom because only you can fight for your freedom. Nobody can fight for nobody's freedom unless they want to be free. Freedom is a choice. Slavery is a choice. Even John Brown knew that he could not free black folks unless black folks wanted to free themselves. When he went to Harper's Ferry, a lot of people thought that was a suicide mission, but he was trying to get them weapons and resources and give black enslaved people the right to defend themselves on their terms. If you want to fight, here's the guns, here's the ammunition. You got to want to fight. And like talking about John Brown not only sacrificed his life, he lost a lot of sons. A lot of his sons were killed trying to help black people. That's your good white person. John Brown probably was the greatest white person in American history. I like him. I like Thomas Paine. Look at what Thomas Paine was talking about. I like, John Brown was the greatest, but for years Hollywood portrayed him as a monster. He was portrayed as a monster. But like he said, when he was defending his life, he wasn't even defending his life. He was willing to die. John Brown willingly gave up his life. A lot of folks was riding with John Brown, black and white. People wanted to break him out of prison down in Virginia, and he refused. And he said, if I was fighting on behalf of the privileged class, if I was fighting for white privileged people, I would be a hero. But because I'm fighting for on the behalf of the slave, I'm a monster. I'm an enemy of the state. He didn't say it like that, but I'm saying it like that. I actually went to the place where they hung John Brown in Charlestown, I think Charlestown, West Virginia. I went to the spot. I went to Harper's Ferry. I did all that because I remember I talked to the park ranger because Dick Gregory said he used to go there often. And the white woman said, "Yeah, Dick Gregory will come here and reflect here at Harper's Ferry." So Dick was telling the truth. But my thing is this: is that a lot of times people problem, especially in social media age, you want to be liked, you want to be popular, instead of being willing to do the right thing and not be always popular or understood. And that's where I find myself at. But with he said Hugo Boss made uniform for SS. Yeah, the founders of Adidas were Nazis. And Kanye exposing everybody, and thank God for Ye. Yeezy, go for Yeezys in times of great deceit. A lot BMW, I think IBM, a lot of places like they was working with Hitler. Hitler was well respected. I mean, FDR now at one point respected Hitler, like they respected Mussolini, Benito Mussolini. So yeah, so no. What's up, Nori? Thanks for dropping in, to drop out, to tune in, to tune out, to get in where you don't fit in. Welcome back. Yeah, John Brown. Okay. Was your Masonic brother. Okay. I love some John Brown, man. Just like I love Nat Turner. I went to Southampton, Virginia. That was a weird experience going down there in Nat Turner land. But yeah, let me read some things about the Shannon Sharpe thing I got from thank you, Al, Great Dad, for your donation. We love you madly. Also, I want to thank somebody else from last show. I didn't get a chance to thank. I was too busy doing the live. That donated. They told me to keep on making videos. Thank Dave Ray for your donation. We love you madly. So much going on. God is good, man. God is still in control. Gabriel Rios Ramos, thank you for your donation from last show. Says stay black, keep making videos. Thank you. And y'all can know how to donate. Y'all see all the ability to donate, make it happen, Captain. But I want to read some stuff I saw on Facebook about Shannon Sharpe situation. But imagine if he was gay. Do you think that Shannon Sharpe would be going through a lot of this stuff if it was proven that he was gay? Even when he had that infamous Instagram thing, I think he did it on purpose to sell some stuff. I don't think that was an accident. Where you hear Shannon Sharpe allegedly making love to a woman on Instagram Live, I don't think that was an accident. I think it was like a thing, a gimmick. It was a very gimmicky thing. Like somebody said, Shannon's goofy, but he's a lovable goofy. Unc is lovable, and that's the key. Stay lovable. That's why he'll survive this, because people still got love for Unc. He'll survive this. This too shall pass. And I want to read what people are saying about what happened to Shannon a little bit. I think it's interesting. Somebody said, I think a brother from Memphis named Andre Parson. He said a few things. Let me see, I'm gonna read this. He said a few things Shannon not so sharp. Number one, the demise of Shannon Sharpe is the direct effect of the gender wars and the damage it created between men and women. It's the ridiculous amount of unrealistic expectations we levied against each other in the dating pool, and its indemnifying impact, particularly the impact it's had on us. We need each other. Black women and black men need each other. Let me explain. So, no, this is number two. Shannon prided himself off of wanting to date his wage. Well, that tab was $100 million contract he forfeited due to the grape. Y'all say grape, not the grape I like, allegations. And now his ESPN contract. That's a handsome ransom to date women you feel are deserving. We all gonna grow to be old and ugly. All the surgeries, black spray, pills, and or filters can't stop the inevitable. The most attractive thing you can find in a partner is their heart. At 55 years of age, Shannon should have known this. Marriage is the cheat. That's number 4. Marriage is the cheat code to wealth, not your investments, your good job, your inheritance, or your luck. Marriage exemplifies a modicum of security, stability, and commitment. It gives you a level of focus you otherwise wouldn't have. It shows your ability to lead effectively and emphatically. You can't, no, wait a minute, I just messed up. Okay, you can't what? You can't what, brother? You can't be loosey goosey running somebody's company or being a figurehead in it. Makes you a liability. 3 children and 3 baby mamas doesn't look good. I know. What? Don't Trump have 3 baby mamas? Don't the president of the United States, who has 34 felonies and 3 baby mamas, he got 3 baby mamas, right? 3 or 4. He's the president of the United States. Okay, like that's what I say. You can't let everybody like jam you up, man. I know we have an unconventional president. Okay, he said that. He's an anomaly, though. We won't get his grace. Who is we? Black people? Black people, we are our own worst enemies because we think black is a curse. I never seen such a gifted, beautiful people thinking that their blackness, their black skin is a curse. Blackness is a gift from God. It's alchemy. The cosmos are black. White folks telling us now the reason why we don't know about these aliens because they look like black American natives. Not just they black people. They look like black people. These aliens that they don't want us to tell us about are black people. At least the more developed ones, the more advanced ones, they're saying they're black people. I remember I saw an interview some years ago on YouTube. This guy, this white man, he said he saw these 7-foot tall black aliens. They look like black people. He said they were like black people. They're black people. They're 7-foot tall black people. You go back to your Bibles about the fallen angels, how they created giants that walked the earth, right? Y'all say the Bible is a lie. There's lie. There's truth in a lie. The lie cannot exist without some type of truth. Okay. What I'm saying is when I hear people say stuff like Barack Obama couldn't do this and that, Barack Obama was more like a beige man. He wasn't black. He was beige. He was bland. He was really more like a white man with a dark tan. Barack Obama wasn't black. Because y'all said, well, he can't do that because there's a black man. No. Donald Trump as an orange man doing whatever he want to do. And y'all mad about it. And I love it. Because it's free. It frees me to see a man say, I give a damn, but I don't give a damn. Y'all gave me 34 felonies. And guess what? I might just pardon Diddy. Diddy dumb, Diddy do. Yeah, take that. Trump doing what he want to do. He show you, hey, man, this dude, I mean, as many executive orders Obama signed and y'all saying he couldn't do nothing is ridiculous. He just didn't want to do nothing for black American natives. He did something for gays and Jews and illegal immigrants. He did something for everybody, white women. He did something for everybody except for black American natives because we didn't demand that he do anything. But yet he thought that he could talk down to us like Bill Clinton was talking down to us at one point. He thought he was going to be able to get away with talking down particular black men. Enough of this crap. Blackness is not a curse. Stop using like, oh, we can't do this because we black. You can't do this because you think you can't do this. White people, real white people, don't ask for permission to do nothing. And when after they do something and they wasn't supposed to do it, they may think about apologizing, but they don't really feel sorry about doing it. And that's why they got what they got. And that's why we don't have nothing. Because we always trying to feel guilty about having something that we help to create. We don't want to get no credit for the things we actually should be getting credit for and compensation for. I'm talking about we black people. So when I hear people talking about we can't get away, no, you think you can't get away, or you're not willing to pay the cost it takes to get away, or to attempt to get away, or to attempt to have something. Enough of this cowardice. It's like when people talking about if you're a black person, you got to work twice as hard as white people. You got to be smarter. They not doing that. That's the lie. You already great. It's in your DNA. I went to one of the best colleges in the country. I went to school with the white folks that were the white people that came from the powerful families, dynasties, resources, everything. I remember I was in art history class. The instructor was thinking about flunking all of us. This is freshman year. The reason why, because we was given a assignment to go to the St. Louis Art Museum, which was across the street. I went to Washington University in St. Louis. Look up what Washington University in St. Louis, what that's about. That's a very powerful place. It's an interesting place. It traumatized me. I could do another show about that. I survived. But they was gonna flunk our whole class because some of the students in the class, instead of going across the street to the art museum, got one of the best art museums in the country, St. Louis Art Museum. Forest Park is an amazing park. That's where they had the 1904 World's Fair. Got one of the best zoos. I believe it's still free. One of the best art museums and some of the best stuff. St. Louis is a hidden gem. Y'all just don't. Oh, it's a bad place to live. St. Louis is amazing. But anyway, they were gonna flunk the entire class because a lot of people in them, instead of doing the project, going over to the St. Louis Art Museum, we are artists and art historians, maybe. They decided to buy the same essay paper off online. This is this is back in '98. This is the fall of '98, man. So this wasn't like what it is. We don't got no Chat GPT, whatever, all this stuff like they got now. But they decided to buy the same damn essay. A number of the people decided to buy the same damn essay from an online source. And the professors and the assistants, they saw what was going on. And they were about to flunk the whole class. I went over there and wrote my own paper. But what I'm trying to say is white folks ain't smarter than you. I talked to white folks that went to that school. They talking about how they had the best instructors to help them how to game the ACT and SAT. It's not because they smarter than you, because they got more resources and they got access to things that put them in certain places and spaces to compete and to excel and win. When you are, I'm coming from descendants of, I'm a spiritual descendant of Dred Scott, who's buried outside of St. Louis. The chief Supreme Court justice told Dred Scott that you nor your descendants have any rights that the white man is bound to respect by law. That's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from Dred Scott's people. I'm one of Dred Scott's people. So I'm in the room with these folks who folks are all about take that, take that, take that. You know, behind every great wealth, there's a great crime. Behind every great wealth, there's a great crime. Behind every great wealth, there's a great crime. So I'm dealing with the descendants of those people, and I'm from the Dred Scott camp, and I'm in the same room with them, and yet I shine. They used to call me Mr. Unteachable in art school, not because I couldn't. I had professors I didn't know their name. I walk down the hallway, I'll be respectful, say hello to everybody. And they said, "You the one they call Mr. Unteachable." I said, "Mr. Unteachable? Why they call me Mr. Unteachable?" Because because they one professor just told me, "Man, you have something you ain't supposed to have." What you mean is you got your own way of doing stuff. You don't supposed to know how to do that. They're telling a black kid that. They trying to it's weird, man. See what I'm saying? That triggered me when dude said that about we can't do. Yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. Do you believe in yourself? Because they said the same thing to Muhammad Ali. You can't do that. He did it. He paid a cost for it. But what James Brown said, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. I'm paying the cost to be the boss. So if you want to be a boss, you're going to go through some stuff. If you just want to be existing and you just want to be at their whim, you want to be like Play-Doh and clay in their hands, that's your prerogative. But don't tell your kids silly stuff about we got to be smarter than them, work twice as hard. They don't work like that. Wealthy people don't work for their money. Poor people are always working for their money. Poor people are always trying to struggle, pay some bills. Wealthy people don't care about no bill. That's a part of life. Elon Musk got bills. Jeff Bezos got bills. Bill Gates got bills. So what's the bill? Long as you have oxygen and water, you good. Oh, I lost my house. They repossessed my car. So what? You get that back. They take that, take that, take that. They take that, take that. It's all about to take that. How much are you going to take, though? You better get up, get out, and get something. Don't let the days of your life pass by. So this is where we at. So let me get back to reading that. All right. People say he all over the place. I mean, so what? It's my podcast. I do what I want to do. I know a lot of different interesting things about a lot of things. I don't know everything. I know some things. may not know all things. I may not know those things well, but I know enough to stroke your interest, because really it's not about me knowing everything or you learning everything. It's about us being provoked to think about things, being provocative in presentation, and inspiring people to think for themselves. That's a sin in a society that undereducates and undermines their population. The biggest crime going in Memphis is not no carjacking, no break-ins, it's undereducating the gifted. That's the biggest crime, and that's off the books. But getting back to what this boy said, oh man, on this brother saying, not disrespect him, but he got me popped up. That was number 4. Number 5, Shannon bet the house on a woman who just a year prior to meeting her had to ask permission to go to the bathroom. Legal, yes. Moral, well, I'll let you decide. Well, don't you know there's the age of consent in a lot of states, or some states is 16 or 17? I mean, y'all make a big deal about her age. I mean, you get young because you want to have kids. They're supposed to be, fertile. This is nothing new. Older man into younger women and vice versa. Y'all get over yourselves. A lot of us wouldn't be here if those relationships did not happen. I told you about my uncle who passed away 4 years ago on July 31st, Uncle Frenchie, newspaper pioneer, one of the first black photojournalists to capture the Vietnam War, U.S. Navy, all that stuff. He married my auntie A.L.L when she was 14 and he was 24. They stayed married for almost 70 years. He died, I believe, in the 69th year. So my thing is, he had several beautiful kids, whatever, got grandkids. Y'all make a big deal about the youth thing. It's no big deal. I mean, long as it's consent, legal age of consent, and like I said, y'all was talking about men, but it's women be preying on young boys. What's all about the outrage of these pretty good looking teachers? I mean, they good. Some of them are good looking women teachers, but they preying on young boys. And nobody talks about that. Like, boys are expendable. It's like men. It's like you got to love women and children. Like in society, they say you got to love them. Loving a man is optional. I feel like how I'm treated as a man in this society. I'm a man, but nobody really wants to know how a man really feels or doing. Like right now, I can't share a lot what's going on with me with other people. I really can't. Not even on this podcast. People ask me how I'm doing. So I'm moving. I'm moving around. Glory be to God. But you don't really know how I feel. You don't really want to know how I feel. So I'm going to keep that to myself. So don't act like you really care about how I feel. It's more about what can I get out of Brother Ron? What can I get out of a man? How can I use a man to get what I want? So the love thing ain't really that important. Matter of fact, marriage, y'all talking about is about love. Marriage, for the most part, been about business. That's why it's confusing that folks don't understand marriage always been a business merger. It's whatever both parties are bringing to the table. So why is there a problem about prenup when marriage is a big business? Why you got government in your business? Marriage is about government interference. Child support is about government interference. Because if it's really about love and family, you won't have all these people in your business. So like loving a man is an optional thing. That's how I feel. That's how, and said that a lot of men are not taught certain things because other males are not willing to share. But women and children is different. Like, you gotta love women, you gotta love children, supposedly. But women don't have to love you. They can love the things you do for them, that you provide for them. So that's like, I get old. I'm 45, man. Like, maybe when I was 25, maybe. When I was 20, 25, I saw the world differently than what I do now. Had more life experiences now. So with Shannon, y'all keep on saying, oh, he's a fool. It's like it's older women that can make a fool out of an old man. It's women his age that haven't grown up. I got women in my age range. They think like Peter Pan. It's not just men. It's like it's women that's not grown. And they in my age range. Shit, I'd be better off with their daughters. I couldn't get you in high school with your daughters of age. Maybe she got more of an open mind than you did back in the day. And be, oh, that's wrong, man. You messing with her daughter. Her daughter 25. Daughter's 30. 20. What's wrong? I'm a grown man. What's wrong with that? It's like, then like it's just man, I don't get because like people like, oh man, Ron, he just no, I love women. That's why I talk about this. Because if I didn't love women, it would be no problem. It would be no problem. So like people talking about Shannon, da da da. Look, man, he's a man. He paid a price, and you pay a price every time you roll the dice. We deal with women because people say, he should deal with women that have nothing to lose. If you deal with women that don't have anything to lose, I said, what? A lot of women don't have anything. Yeah, have y'all been paying attention? Look at all these women losing their jobs. And like a lot of black women have lost their job because feminism has destroyed the family. Not just the black family, but the family. I know women now in their 40s and 50s, they said, Ron, I wish I didn't become a feminist. It's like I know women who had abortions, they wish they didn't have abortions. I never had heard a woman say they think that having an abortion was the best thing they ever did for their life. I never ran into a woman that said that. Never. They said it was necessary at that time in their life, but they don't feel like that was the right move, especially ones who had abortions don't have kids now. They don't think that was the best moment in their life to make that decision. So with this, I'm not even knocking whatever pro-life, pro-choice, whatever, but I'm just saying, like women now, they say I'm gonna focus on my career and education, and all you got to show for it is some bills and some diplomas. Got no kids, got no man, might got some pets. And that's interesting, man. This pet phenomenon, this fur baby movement. People getting these animals. And I know the power of having a pet. I see the emotional support you get from a dog. I say, damn, they don't judge you. You could be the worst person in the world, but they'll still lick your face. They'll still lick your hand. They'll still come and come up to the door and jump up and down because you back at home and stuff like that. So I understand the allure of having animals replace your relationship with humans. So I understand that, but man, Shannon, people talking about critique him dealing with white women, all women. This is like it's not just about white women. This is about certain types of women. Certain types of women, not all women, but some women. And then you got subgroups of women. So this is not about, he shouldn't have met with no young white girl. She was a grown woman, white or not, she was grown. And they were consensual adults at one point. Allegedly, it wasn't consensual. But then, Shannon, now if Shannon's the type of person that think that, he don't want to deal with black women, then, your mama black, your grandma black, why you don't want to deal with your own kind too? Why your own kind off limits? Because it's like it's white women that he likes, but if that's what he likes, that's what he likes. I'm not gonna do the Dr. Umar Johnson thing because that Dr. Umar Johnson thing is interesting too, because like he's begging for money. I understand that his bank accounts and stuff are frozen. I was thinking too, man, Dr. Umar, because black women love Dr. Umar. I'm thinking myself, brother, you should have invested in some cryptocurrency or something. Do you invest in the stocks? All that money you getting from them black women over the years, you invest in no cryptocurrency or nothing like that? Because I'm thinking like myself, man, 20 years from now, I'll be 65 if I make it. I'm thinking about my retirement. I said, man, I need to start investing in cryptocurrency or something or whatever coming out, some AI technology. But then Dr. Umar didn't do that because I feel like if Dr. Umar did invest his money in some stocks, that school would have been built already. He got a school, I guess, but it would be up and running now if that's what he wanted. Because I know he get a lot of money. He's the most requested black scholar in the world, so he's everywhere. He's always jet set. I'm saying, man, you just invest like maybe $100 every week. I came across Dr. Umar Johnson back in 2016. He's a good brother. I met him the first time I met him. He invited me to dinner after one of his lectures at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. And I saw a side of him that was pretty cool. And I met him a couple more times a year. He allowed me to do interviews with him. He allowed me to record his lectures. So I don't really have nothing bad to say, but I'm thinking, as I look at my situation as a 45-year-old man, if Dr. Umar, let's say he invested $100 a week into like stocks or cryptocurrency for 10 years, where will he be right now? I don't know his situation, but his business. I'm thinking about my situation, like the money that comes to your hands, right? All the money that over the years you make and lose, whatever. How much money he'll be sitting on, like in stocks and stuff, if he invested some of that money into the stock market. I know it's the white man's, tools, But you got to think about it. The stock market was made by black people. No, Wall Street was literally built and made and traded on. They traded black folks on Wall Street back in the day. You know, like Central Park was Seneca Village, the black people neighborhood, Central Park. So Okay, somebody said, I think Alexander, he said he could be with a white woman, but damn, my OnlyFans, he was goofy. I mean, but everybody who's really cool anymore though. Cause you know the problem is nobody's really cool. It's like most people are just different levels of goofy right now. Think about it. What I'm saying is like I think you don't know what to believe on the internet no more. I think Michael B. Jordan was told by Denzel, do not overshare on social media. He told him that because when you overshare, people lose interest. It's like, back in the old days of Hollywood, what made Greta Garbo and all them stars, Rock Hudson, whatever, they didn't have social media. They wasn't oversharing. It was a mystique. So Denzel told Michael B. Jordan, if you want to keep the mystique, do not overshare on social media. The reason why Shannon is goofy because he's a social media personality, right? Because in a social media personality, you must create consistent content that connect with people. You must constantly show vulnerability in connecting with people. And OnlyFans, they are part of the landscape. That's a job. People making millions of dollars on OnlyFans. So it's like that's a profession now. You do your taxes on being an OnlyFans model, right? Whatever. But the thing about it is everybody's goofy. There's no cool no more. Think about what I'm saying. There's no cool no more. It's like, can there be a James Dean cool in today's world with social media? Unless, you post every now and then, but not that much. Or you think about Marlon Brando, in his prime Marlon Brando. And people that know, will he be cool today? He might Nick Cannon is cool, but it's goofy cool, right? Because he's a social media person. Whatever. What I'm saying is everybody's goofy now. There's no really cool people no more. That's at least how I feel. I think social media has ruined the mystique, the allure. There's none of that no more. What if Robert Johnson had social media back in the day? He did a live from the cemetery with Ike Zinnerman when they playing their guitars, sitting on top of tombstones and stuff. No, they really wasn't the devil. They were live streaming from the cemetery and they were playing their guitars. I didn't see no devil come in and tune his guitar. Tell him, I'm gonna give you all this. Bring your lifestyle to me. I'll make it better. And how long will I live? Eternal life and forever. Maybe that could have happened on their live stream. But imagine they had live streams at the Dockery Plantation with Charlie Patton and Pop Staple and Howlin' Wolf and all them guys. Willie Brown, my good friend Willie Brown. I'm trying to say, like, the world is crazy right now. And everybody's like, it's like they're mentally ill, but that's on the spectrum. Because you look at these fast food workers, they are like the McDonald's, the girl at McDonald's stabbed her boss, 6 times? No, more than 6 times, but she was the mother of 6 kids. That's up in Michigan and Detroit, right? Then in Memphis, you had a general manager at a Wendy's shoot a guy. Because his employee was a female and she wanted time off and he wouldn't give it to her. So from what I heard, and he threatened to slap her. So she called her male friend up there. And then the male friend got into it with the general manager in the parking lot of Wendy's. And it was crazy. The man just shot the dude and then slapped him on the face. And now he in jail. Man, that was retarded. Because Wendy's said they have a no tolerance policy for their employees having weapons on the premises. This dude had a gun, shot the man, and then slapped him on the face to add injury to insult. The dude ended up dying, and people caught it on their cell phone, their smartphones. So now this dude sitting up in jail. He fumbled the bag. Y'all talking about Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe ain't killed nobody. He made somebody a millionaire. This dude killed somebody over Wendy's. And he destroyed multiple families and multiple lives. My thing is with women, and that's the thing, women, y'all got to be careful when y'all get the men in y'all lives into. Y'all got to move a certain way, because a lot of guys are in the cemetery right now because of a woman. For whatever reason. Women, and not just no black woman either. This could be women in general. Women can get you caught up in some things. They could escalate some things that could lead you to losing your life. So gentlemen, be careful how you move. Don't go in with your emotions. Try to go in with some logic. Because women, they love to operate in emotions. And it don't mean a person is like weak because they in their feelings, but there's a reason why so many people, boys and men, are being unalive because guys don't have no man training. It has nothing to do with your sexuality or all this. I'm talking about being able to operate from a logical standpoint versus always being in your emotions. Because women can be in their emotions and get what they want. A man can't do that. Women can cry and melt down on face on social media live stream. Men, we're not allowed to do that. When we're seen as weak, we share how we feel about stuff. Man, y'all some weak. It's women saying y'all weak. You weak, man. You talking about your feelings and stuff like that. Women are allowed to do that. Men, we gotta keep our composure. You gotta be cool, calm, and calculated under pressure. And a lot of us don't have that training. So you got a lot of brothers in their feelings and they come out and the world ain't gonna receive that like that. Because you learn from a female, if I scream and yell loud and do all this stuff and not tear up some stuff, they gonna give me what I want. For a man, it don't work like that. They'll give you some jail time if you want that. See, I remember when Dick talked about the chemtrails making black people more violent. It's not just the chemtrails. You got to think about what they put in our water, the fluoride, what they put in our food. It's a lot of what we're feeding ourselves with social media. A lot of this stuff is controlling our mood and behavior, affecting our genetics. So that's not when people say I got a history of this in my family. It's not that you got a history of that in your family. It's a history of that in the system. The system is causing these things. So it's like you talk about manganese and malt liquor, make you want to kill your mama, whatever, grandma. The behavior. Think about the fast food stuff. Why are these people so violent at these fast food restaurants? Not saying all the time, but think about Detroit, a black town, Memphis, a black town. Sister, McDonald work. I'm sure she was consuming McDonald's. Young sister in her 20s. Murder her boss, 39. You look at the general manager at Wendy's here in Memphis, killed that guy who was coming up to defend the female who worked at that Wendy's. I guess she's gonna have some free time now. She can have a lot of off time now. That's crazy, man. What are they putting in our food to make us so violent? America got to be the most violent place in the world. We talk about other places, but you think about just the road rage on a daily basis, what people do domestically and stuff like that. It's interesting. But Dick Gregory, he told us that, he's worried about Trump's shadow. People always talking about, he talking about Trump. No, he was worried about what's coming behind Trump. And we in the aftermath of having Trump in office the first time, and this is the second time around. But what's happening is a shift. It's a change. This is the year of the 9. What's happening is, like I know in Memphis, a lot of great black people are passing. A lot of the esteemed elders of our community, they are leaving here and I know several of them personally. We just lost Benny West Nelson. She was the founder of the Black Arts Alliance in Memphis. Larwanette Williams, I met her back in March. She was a part of that movement. She passed away. Dr. Karanja Ajanaku, former editor at the Tri-State Defender. I did some freelance work for him back in the day, especially with the Gen 6 movement. He allowed me to publish articles in that paper in the 2000s concerning the Gen 6 movement, as well as some obituaries and stuff. He passed away this year from liver cancer, lost his battle with liver cancer. The cussing pastor, Thaddeus Matthews, passed away this year. I had a lot of respect for Thaddeus. I interviewed Thaddeus, gave him an award, gave him another award posthumously, presented to his daughter, his widow, and his daughter at the Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Awards this year. I can name several Memphis iconic people that have passed away this year, because what's happening is a passing of the torch, right? Everything must change. So this is what's happening. So we're witnessing a lot of change right now, and we're losing a lot of people right now, and that's just the way it goes. Because I know I think I'm gonna have to stop going to these funerals. There's too many people I know that are dying. Their relatives are dying. and it just overtakes my timeline, and it's just really like, man, I can't deal with all this death. But death is a part of life, because death is really the rebirth. But I'm gonna, manage the best I can. Yeah, you talking about? Yeah, remember I used to, man, when Popeye's chicken sandwiches came out. I remember that came out, man. I was craving that like crack. And then you got people that was killing folks over these chicken sandwiches, and now I ain't, man. It been maybe I know it's been well over a year since I had a Popeye's chicken sandwich, maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, man, you couldn't find a sandwich at one point. They were putting something in that food. So, but it's behavior modification. This is all MK Ultra in a way. Just an upgrade of MK Ultra. Oh man, I gotta really do better than this. I gotta finish reading that Shannon Sharpe list. Oh man, I'm about to re-edit this. Gotta cut out. I just like I mean, I be getting sidetracked, whatever. I think I'm about to end it though. So that was how many things? Got about 10 things. I'm on number 6. If you're gonna play their game, you gotta play by their rules. Dating and allegedly costing one of their women will never end well for a black man. It's number 7. You can say what you want about black women, but one thing for sure, and two things for certain, is they get and understand consequences. Black women humanize black men. They know what's at stake and what's at risk. If they have son, a brother, their father, or a man that they love at one point or another, they prayed for his protection in the perils of this world. They know it's us against everybody. The lengths they'll go to protect a black man they love is immeasurable. That's why I always choose her. If you don't believe me, FaceTime a black woman the next time you get stopped by the police. Watch her eyes water as her heart drops, because she knows nobody loves you like she does. Number 8, I love Unc, but I have uncles who are just as charismatic and infectious as he is. Listening to his sports talk got me through the pandemic. I always champion a black man making a way in this cold world. He won on and off the field. But if it's one thing we all need, it's discipline. This is true. Because it's seeming the fall of every successful man is his ego and insatiable desire for sex. Nobody did that to Shannon. He did that to himself. You got to be quicker than that. Number 9, I'm from Memphis, and I'm an 80s baby. I am too. I grew up in pimp culture. Shannon gave the game a black eye. How you let a 19-year-old hoe pluck you like that? He had no business entertaining her. But if he did, he should have paid her and sent her on, not have an ongoing relationship with her. You don't pay a hoe to F. You pay her to leave. City girls up 100 million after this one. Shake my head. Number 10, foolish pride comes before the fall. I wondered, did Shannon's grandmother ever tell him that? Okay. So this is my brother Andre Parson. I don't know him personally, but I'm gonna give him his credit. And I know I went a different way around it. Interesting thing, but about the black women. I know Dick Gregory said 2 of the most powerful forces in American history: black woman and the black church. But the thing about it is, a lot of the black women, these ain't your grandma. These ain't big mama black women. This ain't auntie black. These black women different. Not all of them, but this is a different time. Like grandma in the club twerking with the grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Grandma don't look like grandma no more. Grandma don't look like grandma no more. Don't look like Madeira no more. It's a different time. A lot of these women don't know how to cook. They don't know how to even keep their coochie clean. The pH be off, food be off full. They can't burn water. They don't know how to clean house. They feel very entitled. You look at even on the social media how women think that the best thing they got to offer is their cootie cat. Like what you bring to the table, my cootie cat. You like catfish? Yeah, it smell like catfish. I don't like that type of catfish. But it's cootie cat. It's like all about my body and all that. And this stuff has a limited warranty, like the McRib. Limited time only. I mean, it's only so good. And like the brother said, sometimes you pay her to leave, not to stay. And a lot of guys are going their own way Because really, like, it was the benefit for a man to marry a woman who thinks like a man, who moves like a man, who has a high body count like some men. That's the thing people don't want to just deal with, and like a lot of dudes, they forget it. Because my thing is, you look at the model. I'm not even knocking Glorilla. Like Glorilla had her birthday bash. She shut down downtown Memphis. She literally shut it down. I lived downtown Memphis. It was hard to move around. Everybody came out for Glorilla. So for what's the balance to the Glorilla though? Glorilla is interesting, gospel singer, all that stuff, very popular. But where's another look? You know, like, why is it that all the women seem like they got long eyelashes and tattoos and all this interesting hair, baby hair on their forehead? Not disrespecting that, but like, where is, like, you know, is there a woman that kind of like a Lena Horne or Pearl Bailey? We got any other women out there that can represent for the females? They can have something to aspire to outside of Glorilla and stuff like that. No disrespect to Glorilla or Meg Thee Stallion or Cardi B. Like, even in rap, why is it that, you know, my thing is, like, I'm gonna talk about this. I think I talked enough about Shannon. I might go back to the title, but you know, they talking about the WNBA, right? The women's basketball. They want to strike. They want to get paid what they worth. I mean, they losing money. The league was losing $40 to $50 million a year. Really, they blessed that the men allow them to have a career. Because nobody watched the WNBA. I don't look at girls basketball. I don't care about I didn't even watch the greatest women's basketball game of all time, allegedly the championship game between Caitlin Clark and Iowa versus Angela Reese and LSU. Even had a Memphis girl do her thing and shot them 3-pointers for the team. My thing is this: I don't care for women's basketball. Uh, Women's sports I do like is track and field and doing Olympics and stuff like that. That's pretty fun. But I don't care about no women's basketball. I'm not, no disrespect to them. I'm just not interested in them. Unless they had some cross dresser. Like, let's say LeBron James said, I want to extend my career. I'm gonna dress as a woman. I'm gonna be a trans woman in the NBA, in the WNBA. I may watch it then. You know, a trans LeBron James playing for the WNBA. It would be, you know, he'd be dunking and stuff. He'd be dominating. He's averaging 50 points per game. I don't look at no woman boxing. I don't care about no women's basketball. But I do enjoy women rapping. I love women rappers. They are phenomenal. And so many gifted, diverse types of women rappers, but the mainstream society only focus on certain types of women rappers, how they show themselves. Like a woman rapper that I really enjoy is Rhapsody. I believe she's from North Carolina, but she got skills. Rhapsody got skills, but they don't really showcase Rhapsody like they do. Let's say if Rhapsody had the same push as Glorilla or Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion, how you think that will affect some females today, like black females in particular, if they push people like Rhapsody? Because you remember, like, you know, 30, 40 years ago, you had people like, and I love MC Light, I love Queen Latifah, Yo-Yo. You had all these diverse rappers. Bahamadi, I think, from Philly. Most Def, Lauryn Hill. And now today is like it's a stripper culture. It's like you look at, you know, man, I'm sure. Well, like 35 years ago, you had the Cosby Show. Everybody could watch the Cosby Show, right? Your mama, your grandma, granddad, dad, auntie, cousins. Everybody can watch P Valley unless you just, like, you know. I remember I have a classmate, Brandy Evans. Shout out to her. She plays the lead in P Valley, Mercedes. And I remember going to our high school reunion back in 2018. People was giving her so much, like, you know, glow up. Like, oh, I love P Valley Girl. But I can't let my kids watch it. I heard one of our classmates. I put the kids to sleep, and then I watch P Valley. So this is my classmate. I've been knowing Brandon since we was in junior high. We went Colonial and we went to Overton together. So I know him for a while. And I am proud that she was able to, you know, do her thing, become a choreographer, work with people like Katy Perry, and also do the P Valley thing. But I stopped watching P Valley, man. It was getting too much, like, you know, too rainbow adjacent for me. Cause I'm looking at, is this a show about strippers? I want to see about female strip. I don't want to see like the big gay dude. I'm not trying to look at rusty black dudes making out on the TV screen. I'm not into rusty black men that need lotion making out on the screen. I want to see more women and what they pushing, man. And then like the hell shows like that, nominated for NAACP Image Award. The same NAACP that tried to destroy the career of Step and Fetch It, they pushing P Valley. And they talking about the NAACP Image Award, but this is the same NAACP Image Awards that their major sponsor at one point, or is still, is Wells Fargo. I live in Memphis, Shelby County, Tennessee. Wells Fargo took more black folks home during their housing crisis than any entity in Shelby County, I think. They foreclosed on more black people homes in Shelby County, Tennessee, and Memphis than anybody, I believe. And yet they sponsor a black people's organization, and really colored people. It's not even black. But the NAACP took their money. And y'all talk about the National Baptist Convention taking $300,000 from Target. Our institutions have sold us out a long, long time ago. Is it a National Baptist Convention, the Black Baptist, whatever y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, imagine Bill Cosby had the same access to a TV studio as a Tyler Perry. The same type of deals on networks as Shonda Rhimes, 50 Cent, and people like that. Imagine how black people, American natives, would be viewed and how we would view ourselves. Because it was always a feel-good thing to watch the Cosby Show, and then the second part of the hour, you look at a different world. No telling how many black kids were inspired to go to college, let alone the HBCU, because of watching Different World. I have yet to meet a black person in real life named Huxtable, though. So you know that was a work of fiction. But you have black people that part of the Black Boule. You have black folks that got loan money in this country, but a lot of us don't know who they are because they're not athletes and rappers and stuff and movie stars. I didn't know who Robert F. Smith or Robert Smith was until he gave them black men in Morehouse. He paid for their debt, their student loan debt. I didn't know who he existed. I had no idea. He's a billionaire. I know about Oprah. She's a billionaire, allegedly, and Michael Jordan's a billionaire. But they've been in the public eye for decades. But this dude was doing investment on Wall Street and stuff. And probably that's the best way to stack money when it's not all about your persona. Because anything tied to your persona, if your popularity takes a dive, it could mess up your money. But if you a person that make your money behind the scenes, whatever you do personally ain't going to affect your brand or your product. Or it shouldn't, but it could be a different time because of social media, because we know who he is now. So anyway, I'm about to wrap it up. Said Boondocks predicted all that. And Aaron Magruder was ahead of his time. My thing is, if you think about weird that how they look at black people as being not real people, not only in the medical establishment, but y'all remember when there was a running feud between the Cosby Show and the Simpsons for ratings? Cosby Show, I guess they do reruns if you look at it, find some now, because it's been syndicated, but the Simpsons been going on for how long now? I remember when the Simpsons was on the Tracy Ullman show, and then now it's been going on for decades. I mean, I don't even watch the Simpsons. I mean, I can remember the last time I saw a Halloween special, a whole Simpsons episode. It'd been years. Yet the Simpsons is still on TV, and they canceled Bill Cosby. And the Boondocks is not on TV, but Aaron Magruder did predict a lot of this stuff. But I mean, who sent Aaron Magruder? Who trained him? Because a lot of you guys, I can see Aaron Magruder being recruited by the CIA as an analyst because he's just brilliant. But was he recruited? No, like the stuff they use, the movies and TV shows and the music is predictive programming. So since we know this is happening, what are we going to do about it? Even in the movie with Roddy Piper and Keith David, They Live, that's a classic. Because when Hulk Hogan died, I watched that movie the night that Hulk Hogan died, or the day that Hulk Hogan died. I watched it that night, and it still holds up. They Live. And they were talking about the year 2025 in They Live, which is interesting. Some of the stuff they talked about, in the year 2025, this is gonna be happening. It's happening now, and it's 2025 now. So yeah, they focus on ratchet female rappers. Yeah, but why is that though? Why is that? Because even if you look at like somebody like Gangsta Boo, who I love, Gangsta Boo was the blueprint for a lot of these rappers, especially Meg Thee Stallion. Cardi B was influenced by Memphis, that chicken head. She used the chicken head beat, whatever. Um, Gangsta Boo could rap, and she had a little, feminine side. She had a balance of femininity. But I think Little Kim was used she was an industry plant. Who believed that Little Kim was an industry plant? Y'all talk about Sexy Red, but Little Kim basically changed everything. Where I think Little Kim came on the scene. You had Queen Latifah and MC Lyte. It was more about their skills, about how they showed up. They had talent, but Little Kim, her stuff was she had a certain production. She had Puffy or Diddy on the production. Then she had Biggie Ghost writing a lot of her lyrics. From my understanding, and she had a certain persona, and that changed a lot of things because you had her, you had Foxy Brown, then you had Trina, and then you had some other people. I'm saying you think about how it went from MC Lyte and Queen Latifah, how they showed up to now what we got now. Is this really progress? And you remember it was a song back in the day that those rappers did on the East Coast, self-destruction. We headed for self-destruction, self-destruction. We already imploded. A lot of us just don't know it because, this low vibrational thing, because women are the first teachers of the child. So you got people like Sexy Red, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion. People don't with Tasha K. What she messed up was, not Cardi B bragged about drugging men and robbing them. Instead of you focusing on her STD, she been talking about how she was bragging about drugging men and robbing them. She took that to court and showed the Vine video, whatever it was. She talking about she probably would not be owing no Cardi B no $4 million. See, this is war. This is chess. This ain't checkers. But it is what it is. But let's say if Glorilla, because he won a gospel award, which is interesting from BET, but whatever. But what if Glorilla said, I'm gonna put out a gospel album? Well, Glorilla said, I'm gonna get some tattoo removal. I don't think people tattoos is interesting for some people. I think when you're young, you see the world differently. I'm an artist. You see my artwork. I don't want no tattoos because I draw. I could draw. I draw pictures and stuff, paint and all that stuff. Tattoo is such a permanent decision. Like, why are you gonna write over yourself? Like you writing on a wall or something. I mean, ain't knocking it, but like Dick Gregory said, that tattoo is a sign of a rebellion, right? Tattoos. And tattoos are cool because, for me, but I don't want no tattoos. But I ain't gonna lie, I like someone with tattoos. I do. I found some women with tattoos sexy. It's really, but it's about not just the tattoo, it's about their personality, how they handle themselves. But let's say you get 90 years old. Would you really want a tattoo on yourself at 90, like from your childhood or from your young adulthood? You think they're gonna age well? Is it gonna age well? That's all I'm saying. You grandma, you got, whatever. But to each their own. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say I like some women with tattoos. I find them sexy. But like you said, Alexandria, there was a balance back then with the rappers, and really they're doing a mind on our children if they don't show that balance today. It's like I don't have a problem with gangster rap because even back in the day, you can hear Public Enemy, Jungle Brothers, X Clan, Cash One was on the radio. Also, you can have Easy E, NWA, and all that stuff, but have a balance. It's like that's why I say Tupac Shakur was the greatest rapper to me because he had a balance. He had anthems for women and for the community. He also had party anthems. He also had gangster anthems. Like I put Tupac, and when people say Tupac ain't lyrical, I said, man, Tupac up there with Curtis Mayfield and Sam Cooke and all them guys. He was a lyrical genius. But anyway, you're right. There's no balance, and it's by design. It's by design. But also, let me see this. We'll do something right quick, and I'm gonna wrap it up. I know y'all tired of hearing me. And I thank y'all for tuning out to tune in to get in where you don't fit in with Brother Ron. And this is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Trying to see something. Trying to see what Shannon's life path number is right quick. It might explain something. So he's 11. His life path number is 11. Let's look up life path number 11. I guess it'd be a 2 then, right? Okay. Shannon path, life path number. In numerology, a life path number 11 is considered a master number, signifying a person with a high degree of intuition, sensitivity, and spiritual awareness. Individuals with this number often possess a natural ability to inspire and guide others, acting as a bridge between the conscious and unconscious realms. While they have great potential, they also face unique challenges, including a tendency towards nervous energy, self-doubt, and potential for emotional turmoil. Okay. Summary, this is like AI. So, like you said, strengths are intuitive and insightful. 11s are highly intuitive and possess a strong inner knowing, often receiving information without relying on rational thought. Visionary and inspiring, they have a natural ability to see the bigger picture and can inspire others with their vision. Spiritual awareness, they are often drawn to spiritual and metaphysical concepts, seeking deeper meaning and understanding. Natural healers and counselors, their empathy and understanding of human nature makes them gifted in helping and guiding others. Creative and imaginative, 11s are often drawn to creative pursuits, expressing their unique perspectives through various artistic outlets. Challenges, nervous energy and sensitivity. Their heightened sensitivity can lead to anxiety, overwhelm, and a tendency to overthink. Self-doubt and fear of failure. They may struggle with self-confidence and fear of not living up to their potential, especially in their early years. Emotional turmoil. Their connection to deep emotions can create internal conflict and challenges in managing their feelings. Misunderstood and isolated. Their unique perspectives and sensitivities can lead to feeling misunderstood or isolated from others. Potential career paths, counseling, mentoring, and coaching. Their intuitive nature and ability to connect with others make them well suited for these roles. Artistic pursuits, writing, music, and other creative fields, often an outlet for their imaginative and expressive nature. Spiritual and metaphysical fields, their interest in spirituality and their ability to tap into the deeper truths make them suited for these areas. Leadership roles, their vision and ability to inspire can be valuable in leadership positions, particularly in fields that align with their values. Overall, life path number 11 in individuals are complex and multifaceted. They are powerful, intuitive, and capable of great things, but they also need to learn to manage their sensitivities and channel their energy effectively. By embracing their unique gifts and navigating their challenges, they can unlock their full potential, and make a positive impact on the world. So I guess he's a life path 11. Sounds like he could be that, right? Sound like he could be that. Thank you, Sister Alexandria. We love you madly. Never tired from hearing from you. I know sometimes I'll be tired of hearing from myself. I don't know, man. I just like, I feel like I'm an analog guy in a digital world. Like, I feel like, when I come to y'all, I got to have something to say. I got to research all that stuff, but I can't, it's interesting. A lot of people just get on here and start talking. It's like white men who are privileged. They know that, let me just do what I want to do, and I will maybe apologize for it later, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to ask for permission. My thing was, I thought I had to ask for permission sometimes to do stuff, and I thought I had to be at the right time, at the most perfect time to do these things. There's no such thing as the most perfect or right time to do anything. It's like Nike said, just do it. And once I realized when I started doing stuff, it may not be the best ideal situation or outcomes, but at least I did something. Because for every action, there's a reaction. That's universal law. So with that said, people, we should give our brother Shannon Sharpe some grace. Y'all want to talk about his bedroom politics? It's not my concern. Because if you start looking into people's bedroom politics, and especially folks that you so-called admire and worship, you're gonna be disappointed. I'm gonna tell y'all already, I'm gonna disappoint y'all if y'all find out, my fetishes and stuff like that. It's like, oh, brother wrong. He's just like something wrong. But look at my message. It's like the mailman. The mailman is doing crystal meth or fentanyl or whatever. Don't worry about what the mailman is doing off the clock. Long as he's delivering your mail to your mailbox. Long as you are receiving your message from the messenger, do not worry about the situation of said messenger. See, like with Umar, just because Umar might be having some financial difficulties and stuff, does not mean that his message is not on point. It does not mean that. It's like Charleston Wright. Just because Charleston White could say some outrageous things, don't worry about the rapping. Look at the gift for what it is. And it's not about always being in agreement with anybody, because everybody have a right to express their own version of what they believe is the truth. And you have the right to reject it. But if you want somebody to hear you out, give them the chance to be heard. And they can reciprocate that, because that's about what respect. Respect don't mean that you agree with everything a person says. Respect means I respect you as a human being. I will give you a chance to be heard. I may not agree with what you have to say, but I respect your right to express yourself and to say it. That's it. And so the goal is to be lovable. Shannon Sharpe is lovable. In spite of his goof ups and things of that nature, he is lovable. He can be redeemed. Y'all don't understand. Like, okay, I talked about Fred Smith before. I worked at FedEx one summer. I was able to jump seat to see this girl I was into. This beautiful Puerto Rican girl that I thought was gonna be my wife. That's another story. I did that during the college years. I was able to jump seat because of Fred Smith working in the hub. I called it the plantation. We called the hub the plantation. A lot of black folks throwing around boxes and stuff. But Fred Smith messed up back in 1974 when he was accused by his family of stealing money from their inheritance, $2 million to invest in a $14 million loss. The same day he got arrested for that back in 1974, he hit and ran a handyman who was 54 years old. I believe the handyman was 54 years old. He got a $250 bill, bond, whatever, and nothing ever came of that case. Then there was another situation with FedEx. This is the future founder of FedEx, Fred Smith. On break from college, he got into a car accident where the car flipped over on the way to the lake. He killed a passenger in his car. Nothing ever came of that. So, you think, and yet he was allowed to create this corporate phenomenon, this global corporate phenomenon known as FedEx. And he helped a lot of people through his organization. He helped a lot. He hired a lot of black people. I know a lot of black folks that work for FedEx. He helped my mom. He hired my mom. FedEx gave her a career and the resources to raise her family. Invested in a lot of different charitable organizations. But this man to kill 2 people with his cars. And nobody holds that against him. New York Times talk about it. A lot of folks don't even know about it. It's online. It's in Wikipedia, in his bio. My thing is this: if he could be redeemed, surely our brother Shannon Sharpe should be given another chance. Even if he screw up, but given another chance to live out his calling and not be held accountable, because only God can really judge you. Really. People could talk about you. People have their opinions about you. But God can only really judge you. It's like with Hulk Hogan. People have their opinions about Hulk Hogan. And y'all Christian folks, y'all say, well, you confess it with your tongue and you ask for forgiveness and God will forgive you, right? So who to say he didn't ask for forgiveness on his deathbed? And who am I to say that he don't deserve forgiveness or redemption? And why should I care what people think about what I say about how I feel about certain things? I don't. Because people's idea or opinion of you is none of your business. When people talk about my perspectives and stance on things on this platform, it could be harsh, it could be mean-spirited, but they are entitled to their opinion. I don't really believe in censorship. If you feel like as a black activist, then I'm a sellout, so be it. And that's okay, because I know who I am. I know how I feel about certain things. I know my entire story better than you know my story. And but at the same time, it's not gonna stop me from showing up and showing out. To tune out, to tune in, to get in where I don't fit in, because human salvation lies in the hands of creative maladjusted. God bless y'all. Good night. Y'all take care of yourselves. One love.